When I went to Bali in March of 2025, I was making about $3,000 a month. And I had some savings. I will reveal later in the video how much that was, but I can say that I ignored the advice of having $10,000 saved up. So I had almost no savings. I told nobody. I was staying in mega cool villas every day, ordering food, and I went to the coolest gym that they have there in Canggu, all on $3,000 per month. And I can tell you, compared to Medellin, where I'm currently staying at, can recommend, by the way, it's quite cool actually, but compared to Bali, Medellin is super expensive. Oh, wait, I can actually show you. I'm filming this video on 2 pots of creatine and a toilet roll. So you have to be creative when you're traveling and filming. Anyway, back to Bali. Why should you tell no one that you're going? Because when you're going to talk about going there, you will get the dopamine of already going there. And for me at least, it was quite scary to go. And for multiple people that I've spoken to that also went traveling, it is quite scary for them to eventually actually start traveling and to take the risk to book the plane flight, to go to Airbnb and actually settle down for a place. And if you're going to talk about it, you already get the dopamine early of actually doing it, and so you might postpone it. And second of all, what helped for me was if you tell nobody, then your new Instagram stories, which you want some aura, obviously. You want to disappear and like go to a cool place and then just randomly post on Instagram. That's what I did. And that's just sick. I can't say anything else. It is just sick to do something like that. And I can highly recommend the mysterious aspect instead of like announcing it, oh, I'm gonna do this, look at how cool I am. Just randomly doing it and then just shocking people is way more fun. And besides that, if you have some family near you, like obviously if you're living with your mom, please tell her. But if you have some family near you or friends that might try to convince you to not do it, then not telling them is a good move if you are highly convinced that you should do it, because maybe they will actually talk you out of it and you might actually not do it even though you want to. But other people, like you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend time with. If you allow them to convince you, you might actually get convinced. Whilst you subconsciously know that you should go, maybe you allow them to convince you and you won't go and you will regret that forever. Okay, so that's why you should tell nobody. It's way cooler if you just show up. Second thing, how much savings and why I had no savings. So I was making about $3K per month, which comes down to like 2.4K euros or 2.6K euros. The dollar is obviously like changing in value. And I had 2K in savings. So in total, I had like 5K, like 3K a month, and then 2K in savings. And I made sure that I always had 1K left for an emergency plane ticket. I made sure that I had at least $1,000 saved up for if everything would go to shit. Let's say the guy that I'm working for stops paying, or whatever happens, the business goes bankrupt, or you break something, or your family, something terrible happens, which obviously you don't want to, but it can happen. Have 1K saved up for a plane ticket so that you can go back at any moment, and that reduces your anxiety and your stress a lot, because you know, okay, anything happens, I get super sick or whatever, my mom gets sick, someone dies, my business goes to shit, or maybe a cool opportunity, so like you can present somewhere and you get the opportunity of a lifetime in a new location in person, you can just go there without any stress or anxiety, like, oh, I might not have enough. And I want to go a bit deeper on the topic of having no savings, because if I would have waited to have 10 grand saved up because I start traveling, I might have delayed it with 6 months or never started in the first place, because at the end of the day, it is quite fucking scary to leave your family, to leave everyone that you know, to go to the other side of the world. I'm born and raised in Amsterdam, or near Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and so this was the first really big travel that I did. I went to the north of Africa, I went to Portugal, Spain, Germany, but I never went like overseas or to the other side of the world. So it's quite scary, and I'm not that much of a mother's child or whatever, but it's still fucking scary. You're used to having your parents around, to have your family around, your childhood friends around, and that just changes. So to just randomly, like to just pull the trigger and not wait to have a certain amount, like obviously if you really don't have enough, don't go. Make sure that you have your $1,000 saved up for your plane flight, but don't wait till this magic number. If it's just anxiety keeping you, holding you back, because for me, I started traveling March 2025. It's now February 2026, and I've only been home for 3 months in between. So I'm traveling for over 10 months now, and maybe I would have delayed it by 6 months if I would have waited. And I made it work with 3K a month. It went to 4K, then back to 3K, then to 6K, then back to 4K. Like, it fluctuates a little bit, but if you're smart with it, if you know what you're doing, then you should be fine. Okay, then third thing that I see most people do wrong, how much to pack. What do you actually put in your suitcase? I recommend to have one bigger suitcase that actually goes underneath the plane, or please put it in the plane, but on the bottom of the plane, that you don't take inside of the cabin or whatever, the place where you're staying. You actually have to check it in. I recommend having one because you do need some shit. I did bring a bunch of medicine and like a med kit, a Fortnite med kit, in case I just randomly died or almost died, which never happened, but you just want to have that shit near you, so you have the space in the bigger suitcase. I had 2 pair of shoes, I think 6 shirts, 2 sweaters, 2 longer pants, and then 3 shorts, bunch of socks, bunch of underwear. Yeah, I always just assume for some reason that I will shit myself 10 times. That's why I take so much underwear. Obviously that never happens, but for some reason I always just assume that I shit myself every day. So I always have way too much underwear with me. Shirts, like you always have laundry, at least in the Bali Airbnbs, if you have a slightly nicer one, then the guy that cleans your Airbnb, he will do your laundry as well. Maybe you pay like $10 a week or something, but it's not expensive and he will do your full laundry. Don't even worry about it. So if you have like 5 shirts, I have 5 of these white shirts and I have 2 more nice shirts for like a dinner or a date or whatever. Make sure that you have something to dress up, or like a proper blouse or something. That's what I had, that's what I recommend. But I overpacked to Bali, so now I'm in Medellin. I have only 5 of these shirts, 2 nice shirts, 2 long pants and 3 shorts. When I went to Bali, I had like 2 sweaters, I think 3 longer pants, then 3 shorts, a bunch of random shirts that I never used, a bunch of nice shirts that I never used. Because like realistically, you're not going out for dinner, like dinner every day, maybe twice a week. And especially if you're going on a low income, then you definitely can't afford it. Oh, we just got a notification. Then you definitely can't afford it to do that either. So I recommend to just have 2 nice shirts. Shirts and pants are overrated. Please wear them, but don't bring too much, because you can wear shorts like 2 or 3 days in a row. And then also, if your cleaning guy comes 2 times a week, then you will have new ones like enough. If you're really stressed, then take a bit more, but don't worry about it too much. Okay, then fourth thing, how long should you travel? So for me, I went to Bali, obviously first big travel. I went for 2 months. At the time, in March of last year, you could have just gone with one visa, 30 days, and then renew it online and just have another 30 days. There's a new rule now in Bali that you have to go to the office after 30 days to get a face scan or whatever picture, and then you can renew it. Slightly more admin, but it's worth it because then you can stay another 30 days. I think it's only like $50 per 30 days, so it's not that expensive. So, and I think after the 60 days, so 2 times 30, you have to ask for a longer visa and a bunch of headache. So I'm from Europe, that's the rules for a Netherlands citizen. I don't know for you, just ask ChatGPT. I did everything with ChatGPT. That should be fine. So 30 days and then you can renew for 30 days. That's what I did. I went on the 3rd of March and I think I flew back on the 10th of May. So I overstayed for 7 days, which was super expensive. I think it was a $50 fine per day. So I had to pay like $350 for my overstay on my visa, which was kind of fucked because I was broke at the time. But yeah, that's how long I stayed, and it was completely fine. The second that you get used to it, it's uncomfortable, away from your family, away from your friends. You make new friends. I met up with one of the friends that I'm currently also traveling with. Like here's some footage of me traveling there with Harvey. You will make new friends or you meet up with friends. So that feeling kind of goes away for me personally. And I mean, like I told you, you always have your $1,000 in your plane flight ticket, whatever. So you can just go back. If you really get homesick or something happens, you can always just go back. Oh, by the way, small bonus tip, a flight from Bali to like Vietnam is probably only $50. So if you really want to stay another 60 days, like 30 and then renew for 30. I think you can just go to Vietnam for a week and then go back to Bali. I think a bunch of people also do that, so that's also possible. I never did that, but I'm sure you can. Okay, 5th one, how much to spend on your villa, food, gym. I took the super expensive gym. It's Nirvana in Canggu. I think it's $200 a month. And like I told you, I was making $3,000 a month. So that's quite expensive, especially if you also spend 1K on your villa. I think we spent $1,500 and Harvey and I were splitting it, so it was $750 each, something. It was quite expensive. Also, if you have to buy food, and I think in euros, because that's how I grew up, and 2.4K euros is not too much. So you have to be a bit safe, and sometimes I just starved myself for a full day if I was like, it might get close. I might just run out of money. So then either I go in a slightly shittier Airbnb, or I starve myself for a day, or I only drink coffee, or just fast, whatever. That works. I would say if you're on 3K a month, and let's say everything is in dollars, then I think like at least 700 or 800 on your Airbnb is completely fine. I'm an entrepreneur, so I also have to spend on like editing and thumbnails and like random costs like insurance, and like I'm a mature guy, so I have to all these fixed costs already. So, and I'm a big guy, I'm 6'8". Yeah, I'm actually 6'8". There's a picture if you don't believe me. So I need a lot of calories and protein. So I also had to buy more food than the usual person. So I always try to like, if you're making three grand a month, try to keep your expenses of your Airbnb only for the month under 1K. In Bali, they're fairly cheap. Maybe you can split it with 2, 3, or even 5 friends. I've seen that as well. And then you can take a 4 grand a month villa, which is sick in Bali, and then split it with 5 friends, and then you're all under 1K each. Food is the most high cost for me, the most expensive thing. I would say at least 1 grand. I was ordering every single day. You have probably a pan or something that you can cook on, or a grill. Then it's probably cheaper, or if you just eat less food because you're not 6'8", then 700 or 800 a month is probably fine. I think I spent 1,200, and in the second period in Bali, I even spent 1,500 or 2,000 a month on food because I was ordering a kilo of Wagyu beef every single day, which was $50 a day. Yeah, then it's 1,500, and then I also had like acai bowls and a bunch of other shit, coffee and protein shakes, whatever. So yeah, just do the cost for yourself. But one thing, running out of money, if you have your 1 grand in plane tickets, is in my opinion completely fine if you're doing it for the experience. If you have potential as an online entrepreneur that you're traveling and working, if you have potential on a higher income, like if you're working more or harder or better, and you have potential to get a higher income, then I think it's fine. For me personally, it was fine to spend all my money, because now, like it's now 12 months later almost, I have more income, and there's more potential, more income, and then you can save later. Like if you're actually on 10K a month, 20K a month, then you can start saving. I would say rent the lifestyle first if you're highly confident that you will get to that income. If you're kind of on a fixed income and you're like, you have a fixed salary, then maybe try and save on the side just for just random expenses, or if you want to go back home that you're not completely broke. But I would say if you're cocky and arrogant like I was, just spend everything and just assume that you will make money, which worked for me, but might not work if you're on a fixed salary. So look for yourself. So I didn't save any money from that whole traveling. So I had my 1K, and then I just spent my full 3K dollars every single month. So that's how I did it. Okay, second last thing, when do I work and when do I have fun? So I was working with people from the US. So I would, then you're kind of 12 hours in front of them. Like they're 12 hours behind you. So I was waking up at 10 a.m. Then it's like around 9 to 10 p.m. kind of depends on where in the US for them. So they're awake for like 2-3 hours, maybe depends on where they are. I think my friends were, when I woke up at 10 a.m., I think it was like 7 p.m. for them. So then they work for kind of 2-3 hours. I could kind of finalize some communication, and then I start my day and they go to sleep. It's not ideal. But that goes into this point of when to do fun things, when to work, because that meant for me that in the morning when I woke up at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., I just worked till 12 p.m., 1 p.m., immediately just fasted, maybe order a coffee or something, just go to work. And then when they go to sleep, then I might go to the beach till like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. And then when they wake up again around 10 or 9 p.m. your time, I went to work again till like 12 a.m. That's how I did it. I didn't have too much important shit to do at the time, so now I have way more work to do. Like it's currently 6:30 p.m. whilst I'm filming this video, because during the day we had more work to do and just serious priorities. So then I'm now in Medellin, so I'm in the US time zone. But whilst I was in Bali, my first period in March of last year, I was doing jack shit. I was just starting. I was getting trained by the founder of the business, Josh, who is now one of my best friends. Here's a picture. He's the guy right next to me. That's Josh. He's running the operation. I'm the CCO, Chief Creative Officer, but I didn't start that way. I worked myself up there. Anyway, that's irrelevant. So now I have way more stuff to do, so I might have fun till like 6 p.m. like creating content is fun for me, till 6 p.m. till 11 p.m. So Harvey and I had some nice massages here. We just do that at 7 p.m. Then the work is finished up. Sometimes we stop at 4 p.m., 11 p.m. But if you're in Bali and you have to do with the time zone and you have calls, for example, I would recommend to wake up 5 a.m., 6 a.m. if you really have to work with them. And otherwise, try to put it in the morning, in the afternoon. That's kind of how I did it. I went to the gym at 6 p.m. at night. And then I went back to my villa, 7 p.m. And then they kind of started working. So I started talking to them and blah, blah, blah. Worked a bit more in the afternoon or like close to the night. And then I went to sleep. So that's how I did it. Oh, and then the last thing that I had written down was the time zone. I guess I just fully covered it already. It is kind of fucked. So if you're working with people from Europe, completely fine. They wake up around your afternoon, your 3 p.m. So you can kind of fuck off in the morning till 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. and then start your serious work day till maybe like from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. But if you have people from the US, it is kind of difficult. So yeah, you really have to be a night owl or super morning person or both. And then you have to choose your moments, right? I went to the beach during the middle of the day, whereas you might think, oh, didn't you have to work? Yes, but I couldn't chill in the afternoon because then they started working, so I had to be there. So I made sure that I had fun during the day, and then in the morning and afternoon I worked. So choose for yourself. Kind of depends on your whole business and what the fuck you're doing. Maybe you're going to Bali with your people that you're working with, and then it doesn't matter at all. Maybe you only make vlogs, so then it doesn't matter at all. But if you have calls, if you're working with US-based people, which we do, then you're kind of tied down to the morning and the afternoon, or like late at night. In my second period in Bali, actually, I will keep this short because I think I'm already yapping for a bit. But in my second period in Bali, that was between end of October and beginning of October and end of November. I had way more responsibilities. I was way more important for the business already, like I am now. And I just woke up at 3 p.m. They might think, what the fuck, 3 p.m.? Yeah, because I stayed awake till 7 a.m. because I had to work with them. I had a bunch of client calls, new clients, onboarding calls, team calls with employees. So I just forced myself. So I woke up 3 p.m., worked all the way till 7 a.m. and then went to bed. So you can also do the extreme one when you're more important. Maybe you're a sales rep for a business and you have all your calls in the US time zone, then that might work for you. It's a sacrifice. Bali is super cheap, mega awesome Airbnbs. Just look at this. This is so fucking cool. I always consider going back. So it's now just gonna fuck with the time zone, but it's always nice for a vacation. Cheap villas, super nice people. All the services are cheap. Going around on the scooter is fun. Amazing weather. The gym is always sick, like big and colorful and tropical. And I'm from Amsterdam, from the Netherlands, so I'm used to gray, depressing weather. So Bali was an opening in my life, like a colorful opening of how happy you can be. And now in Medellin, I mean, the sun is going down now, but yeah, it's a different level. So that was everything that I had to say about Bali. If you want to see how my experience was with girls, then I recommend you to watch this video because I made a full video as a 6'8" guy with girls in Colombia, Bali and Europe. I would recommend you to watch this video right here.